Hey everyone, it's Tox from CritsHappen.com. Thanks for watching and welcome back. We're here with another critical preview where we take a game that's about to be on Kickstarter, put it through its paces, and highlight it for you to check out. If it's something you find interesting, there's going to be links below in the YouTube description as well as at the end of this video as an annotation so you can check out their project page directly. This time, we're taking a look at a game called Space Junk from Lamplight Games. This is their first produced game, and it's designed to be set in the year 2047, where the Earth is surrounded by garbage. There is just a plethora of junk floating around in all the different rings in space. Your job is you're part of a game show called Space Junk, and you and your opponents are all competing to be the winner of this season's reality show. The idea is really simple. You start with a very basic ship and a pilot. You're going to have move, attack, and search attributes that are going to help you orbit the planet to gain points or capture more space junk to increase the effectiveness of your ship, both in racing and in combat. Because of course, just because you find all this stuff out in space doesn't mean you can't use it, and you're going to use it against all of your opponents. So come with me, grab your satellites, grab your surfboards, and grab your dentures, because there's a lot of space junk in space. So Space Junk is for 2 to 6 players and plays in 60 minutes or less. Even with 6 players, you can play that quickly because it is a fast, a furious, and a funny game. Now here's a brief overview of the game to give you an idea of how it works. This is set up for a 2-player game. Each player is going to be given a player board. The player board is representative of their ship. Each player is also going to be given a character card. In this case, we have Kit Vicious and Mr. Smith. Now, each card has a little bit about them and a special ability just for that character. There is also an M, an A, and an S value. The 3 primary resources or numbers that you're going to be dealing with inside of Space Junk are movement, attack, and search. Those are also the phases of the game. Your board is going to consist of 2 spots for movement cards, 2 spots for the attack cards, and 2 spots for the search cards. As you gain space junk, which are these 2 piles here, for example, this is Sputnik. Sputnik adds 0 to your move, 1 to your attack, and 1 to your search. You're going to have the option at the end of each of your turns to make this part of your fuselage or to put it into the movement, the attack, or the search slots as well. As you put them into those slots, it would move it up. So if I put Sputnik in my search, my normal search with my character would be 2, but Sputnik would increase it to 3. So at the end of my turn, when I search for junk, I could draw 3 cards. Now, in addition, you have a cargo hold that you can store any cards that you're not using and haven't been damaged yet. Damage is a big part of Space Junk and shifting the momentum inside of the game. Now, the basic way to score points are twofold. The first is by orbiting the Earth, which there are 3 rings around that you can orbit. There is an inner ring with 4 spaces, there is a middle ring with 8 spaces, and there is an outer ring with 16 spaces. Very simply put, the more times that you orbit the Earth, the more points you will get. So if you're on the inner ring moving very fast in one turn, constantly rotating around the Earth, you're going to be getting a lot of points. However, the closer you are to Earth, the less amount of cards you're going to maximum be capable of searching for. There's a number 3, 6, and 9 for each of these rings. So I could build a ship that is really fast and be flying around the inner ring, racking up points, but I'm not going to be searching for a lot of junk. So I better keep moving fast or else someone could attack me and hurt me and slow me down from scoring points. Conversely, if you're on the outer ring, this is going to allow you to search for 9 cards and get a much greater variability of options to upgrade and change your ship's stats. But you're going to be slower moving around the Earth and not rotating as many spaces. So rotating and orbiting the Earth is one main way to gain points. The other way is to attack. As you find these cards and build more cards into your system, let's say we have this plunger here, which gives us +1 on attack. So our character would normally have a 4 attack, and we would get a +1 for 5 attack. What's going to happen is, let's say Mr. Smith is up here orbiting away, and we're back here, and we're going to fight him. We're going to have an attack based on the attack value that I have, the attack value he has, and then rolling dice, as well as the attacker subtracting values from range. So in this case, we'd be 2 spaces away, so they would have to subtract by 2. Now, depending on the results rolled, you could score hits. If you score hits, you get points. You get 3 points for every direct hit. But more importantly, as you'll notice on these player boards, the movement, attack, and search values underneath the card slots have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. For each hit you score, you get to roll a d6 and damage one of the cards in those slots, which means at the end of the player's turn, they're going to have to discard them and either replace them with things that they've held in their cargo hold or get new cards by searching and going into the space junk even deeper. The space junk is very comical. There's a lot of tongue-in-cheek things, because as you can see, the first 2 cards I drew were Sputnik and Plunger. But there's mushrooms, there's dentures, there's duct tapes, there's literally everything floating around out in space. So it's very tongue-in-cheek. Now, at the end of every turn, you're also going to be able to adjust your ship. So if you decide that, Sputnik really isn't helping me as much in search as I wanted it to, you can move it up to your attack value or your attack row to add to your attack as well. Conversely, if you stored anything in your cargo area, you can put that onto your ship and move something from your ship into your cargo area. The fuselage and the cargo are really nice. The fuselage would give all of the attributes of an item to each of your attributes. So movement, attack, and search. When they're in the fuselage, you get all 3. When they're over here, you just get the row that they pertain to. However, the fuselage, as you notice, cannot be damaged. So you know that while you're going to get a good bonus out of it, you don't have as much of a risk losing that card. And then the cards in cargo just stay there and are more junk for you to potentially adjust your ship with. This is a very fast game. It's very furious. You have constant movement going on around the board. You have constant adjustment of your ship and its abilities and capabilities. And whether you decide to balance your approach and go for speed and attack, or whether you lean into one or the other, or you just decide I'm going to balance and go for a lot of searching, there's a lot of different options that you can employ inside of Space Junk to be successful and have a good time. So that's Space Junk. Space Junk is very tongue-in-cheek. We've had the most fun with this game being able to tell stories. I really like games that engage you in a way that allow you to create a persona or create a character about the people you're playing. And this game does a really funny way of doing that. Every turn you're going to be acquiring more space junk, and every turn it's going to be ridiculousness of things that you find. When you first draw the dentures card, you're like, how is this going to help me? And then you start to realize there are strategic ways that it can help you. And the fun part is that at the end of every round, you have the cameo, which is where you have an opportunity to change out everything that's on your ship, adjust your attributes, and then tell a short story about why you did that. And you can really get into the characters, which has made it a lot of fun. Overall, Space Junk is a very lighthearted, tongue-in-cheek science fiction type game. It talks a little bit about corporate America and reality TV shows and some of the things that go on in the world today, but overall it presents it in a very fun way. It's very simple mechanics to learn. We've actually been able to teach it to as young as 5 and 7 and 8-year-olds, and they've enjoyed it. And because of the kind of quirkiness and comedy inside of the game, they've picked it up very well and very quickly. If it's something that interests you, you can check out their project page by checking on the links below, or you can check out the link at the end of this video as an annotation as well. But in the meantime, we hope that you enjoy all of your orbiting and attacking times inside of Space Junk. Thanks so much for watching. Keep rolling those dice, and we hope they're all crits.